You won't believe what happened this week in El Salvador. My son got bitten by a bat, of all things. What started out as a normal evening turned into a race to the clinic for an emergency rabies shot. And I learned just how dangerous a bite like this can actually be. Keep watching. Buenas tardes, mis amigos, y bendiciones para todos ustedes. Good afternoon, my friends, and blessings to you all. Si no habla inglés, ve a la configuración de YouTube y selecciona pista de audio para escuchar este video en español o presione el botón CC para obtener subtítulos en español. If you regularly enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps the algorithm get our videos out to more people, especially people who are interested in what goes on in El Salvador. So let's just figure out how this happened exactly. So I have, at the moment, 8 cats. We had 9, but one has gone missing. Sadly, we don't know where she ended up. Even our neighbors came by asking, I haven't seen your kitten in a while. And she had taken a picture of the kitten and showed me. I'm like, yeah, that kitten's been missing for about a week. I don't know. Our cats travel the neighborhood, apparently to our neighbors, and they take pictures and cuddle, and they love that cat. But I don't know if somebody took the cat in or something happened to the cat. Sadly, nobody's come to ask any questions. Actually, there was a cat that had passed away under someone's car, I think last week, and they actually came to our house to ask if it was our cat. So nobody's come to ask about the cat we actually have missing. His name is Coco, and we do miss him. He is so sweet. He actually has blue eyes. He's a little bit Siamese, very adorable kitten, but sadly he's gone. However, our other 8 cats are very great hunters, and they bring in everything into the house. I'll wake up and there'll be feathers all over the floor, or there'll be like a sea of dead cockroaches that they like to play hockey with because they bring them in the house, they bat them around a few times until they stop moving, and then they abandon them. And geckos is another one of their favorites, a frog. Actually, one time they brought a frog in. And they often bring bats into the house, and they're just little tiny baby bats. Now normally they like to just play with them. They don't necessarily eat them, except the birds. The birds unfortunately don't make it out remotely, like not even a little bit alive. Oh, one time they brought in a possum, and you know possums play possum. Well, it was just a baby possum, and we had a dustpan and a broom and swept it up, and then my husband took it outside because it was just lying there on the kitchen floor. And as soon as he put it down outside, it took off. It literally was playing possum. It was playing dead, and it was not dead. So they often bring bats in the house. One night we had one flying around, landing on stuff, and the cats were like jumping and trying to grab it. It was crazy. Crazy town here. However, this time they brought the bat and played with it until it no longer had any fun left in it, and just left it in my daughter's bedroom. And it was kind of in the corner of the room, kind of half under her little mini trampoline. So I asked my son if he could go get it and get it out of the house because she wanted to go to bed. So instead of getting the broom and dustpan like we've done in the past, he decides to pick it up. I don't know exactly by what part. He carried it outside, and he said as soon as he got it outside, it turned its head around and bit his hand. His finger, actually, his ring finger. He was telling me this just before I was going off to a meeting, and I'm like, okay, well, there's alcohol and whatever. And I didn't think much more about it. It's just a bite. I mean, I've gotten bitten by cats before, my own cats typically, so I never had thought about it at all. And then my husband goes on and does a little research about it, and he's like, no, he needs to go get a rabies shot like right now, because what I learned about rabies was a lot more than I ever thought I'd have to know. Usually it's just animals that get rabies shots, right? Like my cats have the rabies shots. In Canada, cats had rabies shots, dogs had rabies shots. Your domestic animals had rabies shots. We all seen Cujo, right? Haven't we? Haven't we? I think I'm going to show that to the kids this weekend, actually. Anyway, yeah, the cats and dogs get rabies shots. People get rabies shots. Apparently, people can get rabies shots too. Let me read up on this for you. When someone is bitten or scratched by a wild animal, especially bats, raccoons, or even stray dogs, which of course El Salvador is like lousy with stray dogs. We all know that. You need to get the rabies shot immediately. Now, normally when you get a vaccine, you do it ahead of a time you might catch a disease. Like you would get the chickenpox vaccine, if you're into that, before getting chickenpox, right? Or measles, mumps, rubella, or whatever. You get them before. That's the whole idea. They build the immunity so that you are fully defended when the actual disease hits you. And now you think, well, why would you get a vaccine after you've been bitten? Or, that's a whole discussion I won't even get into here. But anyway, apparently it works well like that with rabies. So getting the rabies shot immediately is absolutely critical. And rabies, I didn't know this either. Rabies is one of the most deadliest diseases. Like, you think about, okay, I had measles or mumps when I was a child. My mom didn't know which one. I'm still alive. I didn't die. I had chickenpox as a child. I didn't die. I would get a flu shot and I get the flu and I didn't die. These diseases often are not fatal. Rabies, however, is very different. Rabies is almost 100% fatal. So that's one you just don't mess around with. I'm not a big proponent of vaccines, pretty much none at all now from now on, but rabies apparently is different. So I didn't know that you actually could get the rabies vaccine after being bitten either. That was all stuff I just learned. So like I said, it's one of the most deadliest viruses on the planet. And once the symptoms appear, that's when it's almost always fatal. So you want to get the rabies vaccine before the symptoms appear. The good news is you can go get a post-exposure vaccine. And these vaccines, I think, have been changing over the times because I've heard people, one guy said he had something like 21 shots or something like that. And one guy's like, I got 15 shots. And someone said they had 7 shots. Well, apparently now we're down to 4. We're down to a series of 4 shots. And yet they had to be given extremely quickly after the exposure. So he got bit around 6:45 on Monday night. We had the shot by, I think we were out of there by 10:25. So probably around like 10:15 he had the shot. So really within a few hours of being bitten, he had the shot. So we're all good, right? Hopefully. So the way the vaccines work is that they work by helping the immune system recognize and fight the virus before it hits the nervous system. So this is why it's important to have the shot very close to when you actually got the bite. Don't wait for a couple of days. You want to make sure that you get it before the virus hits the nervous system. So that's why no matter how small a bite or scratch, you want to go and you get that treated right away. Now, we went on Monday and then we had to go back yesterday for another one. Now, of course, when it happened, I told GJ, reach out to Stan because I didn't want to go to the clinic by myself and try to translate what happened because, it's emotional and whatnot. It's just this, you want to have a little support, right? So we picked up Stan. It was raining a bit, wasn't great weather, but we got there okay. And we were there at 8:55. I did my first little video of us sitting down. And we were out there, I think it was 10:28. We were sitting back in the car. So it was very fast. I mean, the place was packed too when we came in. It was like, we weren't like the first in line, but it was sort of a high priority item. It's not like I've had a cold for a week and I need to see a doctor. No, I mean, we've been bitten by a bat. We don't want to get rabies. So they did treat that probably a little bit more high priority than just anything at all. And then last night, Stan wasn't around, so I had to go there myself, just me and Willem, and I had to do like the translation. I had a little card they gave me with the dates of every shot he has to get, and on the back of it has this file number or whatever. So I had the card, I showed it to him, I said, my son needs to come for a second rabies shot, and they told us that they had to they didn't have saline on Monday, so they had to give him this other shot, apparently goes in his buttocks, and they had to be mixed with saline or something. It must have been a powder or a concentrate liquid. So we did get those last night. So we ended up getting 3 shots last night, 1 in each butt cheek and 1 in his arm. Before rabies shots, I'm told we're given around the belly button. They don't do that, apparently, not here. It was in the arm. And we have 2 more shots to do. One is next Monday, so like a week from the first exposure, and then the next Monday. So basically over the two weeks in a day, we're getting 4 shots. So that's how the series works now. But it is incredibly important to get it done right away. And trust me, getting it done in a country where you don't know the language, it can be daunting. So if you have a friend like Stan, you definitely want to pull them in to help you explain to the medical staff, what's happened. And we went to the Fosalud clinic. Again, if you want to see my other videos on that experience, go check those out. But that's the free clinic in El Salvador, and it's literally 12 minutes from my house. It's the easiest one to get to when there's no traffic. I'll say that. Disclaimer, when there's no traffic, it's the easiest one to get to. It's literally like behind the Metro Center de Lourdes. And when I went there last night, I was like, oh, I didn't realize how it was so close. Because the first time I went, I picked Stan up first and then came from a different direction. So I didn't realize how close it was until last night. But it's definitely close. It is a free clinic service in El Salvador. And I'm so very grateful that we have that here. Because if we had to rush them somewhere else, I don't know if I would be able to keep repeating those appointments by myself, especially if it's further away because we're in the rainy season right now. And I don't know if you guys seen any of the news about what happened in Santa Ana yesterday with all the flooding. You don't want to be too far away from a clinic because you don't know what's going to happen if you're going to be able to get there because you really need to get the whole series of shots. And even yesterday, the nurse who gave him the shot said, make sure he keeps coming back for the other shots. It's really super important. So you don't want to have to go somewhere you have to travel a great distance to get this medication because you don't know what's going to happen. And one other thing I was going to say, in our little community, we have a little WhatsApp group, and we have a doctor in that WhatsApp group, and he always puts a little advertising, and he's a pediatrician. So I actually reached out to him first, but he doesn't have the rabies vaccines on him. So he did actually suggest us to go to the Fosalud clinic, because I would have just preferred having, Dr. Mario come by. He's right in our area, does 24-hour house calls in our complex. So, I mean, you don't get that in Canada. And if he would have had what we needed, then we would have just used him and just paid him for his service. But he didn't carry these, like vaccines usually have to be in the refrigerator, sometimes freezers. And even in the last video clip you'll see here, Willem is sitting beside this great big blue, I guess it's like a deep freezer refrigerator thing. And they have to keep these things at a stable temperature, because otherwise the vaccine is no longer good. It's just don't put it in your domestic refrigerator kind of thing, right? So it's important to get the right treatment at the right place at the right time. So here's some video clips of our experience this week. I hope you enjoy. It was not the most pleasant experience, but it definitely was a learning experience. And if you ever get bitten or scratched by a raccoon or a bat or a stray dog or anything you're just unsure about, please go to a clinic and get them to assess the situation. And most likely you'll need to get a series of rabies shots too, because you want to be safe. You don't want to be dead. Dead is not a good option. So let's go for the living one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So here we are at Fosalud again, because Willem got bit by a bat. Which finger is it? The ring finger?
Ring finger. You can barely see it on video.
White markings on it and some red markings. And it's packed tonight, but because this is an emergency and we don't want to get rabies, we get kind of moved a little bit to the head of the line, and we'll see how that goes. We're just waiting to get in. We went from one waiting area to another waiting area, and we're just waiting to see the doctor now. Waiting to pick up the medicine. You don't look very happy.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah? Don't get bit by a bat next time?
I didn't realize the consequences were this severe.
Very severe. Very severe. Yeah.
The white ones are
Every 12 hours?
every 8,
Okay.
and these are every 12.
Okay.
And this is once a day.
Okay.
You know the drill, right? You breathe. Oh, yeah, hold this so it should not touch your skin after it's clean. From 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. next day, it's people from Fosalud. So it's still government employees, but different payroll system or whatnot. So for Fosalud employees, you have to drop by the front desk, and for the inside, you don't. You just show up here and make a.
Well, that was it.
Yeah, hold it, Willem.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, that's it. You can go.
Okay, so we're now going to get the second rabies shot. However, it's just Willem and I, so here's hoping I can convey the message in Spanish why we're at Fosalud. But it is now 9 o'clock at night, so there's less rain right now and less traffic, and hopefully less people waiting around. So crossing fingers is gonna go okay.
Don't forget to hit the like button.